Yeah, 100%. Well, which team shall we start with? So we'll work our way down with the Otago Vols first.
We can start we'll go north to south.
North
Is
to
how I
south?
always like to do those things. North to south, starting with the Auckland Aces.
Defending champions?
Well, I'll put it this way: the Auckland Aces probably have the best young talent in Rob O'Donnell with the bat. You got Mark Chapman with the bat. You've got Sean Hicks, who's a young all rounder. You've also got Glenn Phillips with the bat as well. Like those guys are prodigiously talented. So Auckland are going to be bloody tough. Auckland are going to be a very solid team. You've also got Michael Guptill Bunce. He'll open the innings alongside Jeet Raval, who's going to be chasing some runs to push his Black Caps selection. Then you got the veterans, Colin de Granholm, Brad Kachopra, Donovan Grobler, fair South African / Zimbabwe contingent in that Auckland side as well. What stands out for you, Wildcard?
The presence of Taran Nathula is pretty interesting. Took 39 wickets for them last year, second in the wicket-taking lists. Dude who's had a little bit of a stint with the Black Caps, didn't really do that flash, and with like 4 different spinners getting to go in India, interesting that, he's maybe a guy who could push for another go at that. I mean, Colin Munro's just a great player to watch at this level. He's just like, it was last year, wasn't it, where he scored that double hundred, just pummeled sixes everywhere all over the place. That's exciting.
And that Aces middle order is going to have Colin Munro and Colin de Granholm, who they both just smash it. So if you can check out one of those games live, you got to play the game of lottery and just try and get along, because de Granholm only bats one way. He just goes out and absolutely tonks it. And then you've got Munro, who has a bit more defensive nous in his work, but he also just deals in boundaries as well. So you're going to be treated to some pretty damn exciting cricket when those two are at the crease for Auckland.
Yeah, Colin de Granholm, I'm stumbled on his stats here. He last year scored 605 runs, 1 century, 750s, decent numbers, average 35.58. But yeah, the point you made, a strike rate of 88.97 is significant. 14 sixes last season he hit. That's nothing to sleep on.
Yep, and Auckland do have Lockie Ferguson, who is one of the quickest bowlers in Aotearoa at the moment. Besides Adam Milne, you're probably looking at Ferguson as the quickest, so he's always one to watch. Took plenty of wickets last season, just was a bit wild with his economy rate as well. So if he can take as many wickets, then we're in the situation where the economy rate doesn't matter, because he's just bowling heat.
You've already talked about him as part of the big group that they've got there, but do you have any specific words on Mark Chapman, Hong Kong international?
Yeah, he has. I think he's hit a century for Hong Kong in ODI cricket, and he is someone, I think he was born in Hong Kong and then has come back to Auckland. There is a group of 3 batsmen, so you got Rob O'Donnell, Mark Chapman, and Will Young for Central Districts, who are probably the 3 best up-and-coming batsmen in Aotearoa. And that Auckland lineup's going to have, you're probably going to have Jeet Raval, Michael Guptill Bunce opening. Then you'll have Colin de Granholm, Colin Munro, Mark Chapman, Rob O'Donnell, and Brad Kachopra forming the crux of that batting lineup. And that is some serious talent with the bat.
That's strong.
It's bloody good.
So assuming then that they can pick up quite a few more wickets from Nathula, for example, assuming then that Lockie Ferguson takes another step forward this season, would you suggest they're favourites to defend their title?
They're up there. Yeah, they are missing a few pieces, and their seam bowling attack doesn't quite look as well-rounded as a few others, but they'll be they're among the top 2 teams, I'd say. And that's the thing, like a lot of these teams are strong, but a team like Auckland, they are strong and they've got proven performers in this arena, so they start ahead of the pack. Whereas if we move down to the Northern District Knights, if I may, they probably don't quite have the level of talent across the board, but they do have a bloke like Barrett Popley, who was the leading run scorer last season, and we could see, like, if he catches fire and builds on top of last season, you've got Daniel Flynn, you've got Dean Brownlee. Like, there's enough talent there that they could work their way into being among the top teams in the Plunket Shield. Popley's a very interesting character because he was the leading run scorer last season, and he is someone who, if he can show that that wasn't kind of just one season where he caught fire, he could definitely feature in a Black Caps test batting lineup in that middle order, because he, like, just the weight of runs that he scored is undeniable. Like, he was an absolute freak last season.
1,149 runs for Bharat Popley, high score 172, average 67.58. His run tally was over 200 runs more than anyone else last season.
Exactly there, Wildcard. He did play a bit of cricket in Auckland as well for Pt.1. Shout out to them. And he's gone back down to ND and just gotten a whole lot better over a very short space of time. The weakness for the Knights will be they have a very young seam bowling attack, which will obviously be without the likes of Tim Southey, Trent Bolt, Corey Anderson. So you got youngsters like Zach Gibson, Brett Hampton, Tony Gooden, and then Scott Kugelheim was impressive last season. Anton Devchich, Nick Kelly will offer some spin, as will Jono Bolt. Like, it's all pretty solid, but there's no kind of standout performers who we need to watch out for in that bowling attack.
Well, there are, but they all play for the Black Caps, same with their best batsmen. Like, that's the problem with the Knights every year, is that they probably, without doing the numbers, at least just the feel of it, seems like they have more Black Cap reps than most of the other teams, and that means that they're just tested for depth a lot more than everyone else. Sort of like Canterbury were back in the day when they had half the Black Caps team.
For sure, and I'm rolling with Popley and Tim Seifert as the youngsters in that team to watch out for. Popley, as we said, leading run scorer last season. Tim Seifert will play a whole lot because BJ Watling will tend to be on Black Caps duty, and Tim Seifert is pretty damn talented himself with the bat. He's a bit different to Watling in that he's more of a counter puncher, scores runs fairly quickly, so he'll be someone to watch out for wildcard.
Yeah, a couple interesting names in there as well, and Daniel Flynn and Dean Brownlee, former Black Caps.
Yep, they've parked the bus in the domestic cricket battler car park spot there. So
yeah, well spoken.
But they are talented domestic cricket players, so they'll be at the top of the order. Like Daniel Flynn just absolutely smokes it. Dean Brownlee's a pretty classy batsman. So if the bulk of their runs will come from Daniel Flynn, Dean Brownlee, and Barrett Popley, most likely. Should we slide down to CD? The CD Stags.
Shall we? Where Jesse Ryder will make his name this season.
Yeah, he played a very key leadership role last season, so he'll look to do that again. But bit of a bummer for CD that Ben Smith, the opening batsman, who is probably the best batsman that no one knows about in Aotearoa, opening the batting for CD. He is fairly talented, but he's been ruled out for the season via injury, so it'll be interesting to see what the Stags do there to replace him. The Stags have a very deep bowling attack. You got Ryder will bowl some medium paces. Andrew Matheson's played an ODI for the Black Caps. He's pretty quick. Ryan McCone's moved up from Canterbury. Nevin Patel's a medium pacer who just gets some beautiful outswing. Bevan Small, Ben Wheeler also has played for the Black Caps. Seth Rance is probably the best domestic bowler who won't play for the Black Caps. He fits that category just because he's a bit older.
Right.
He could work his way into the ODI team, but he is a domestic bowler through and through, but a bloody fantastic one. And you got Blair Tickner, offers some depth. Ajaz Patel featured heavily in the wickets with his left arm spin.
So wicket taker last season.
Marty Kane will also offer some left arm spin as well. Exactly. So they've got spin, they've got seam, and they've got a batsman like Will Young who will score an absolute bucket load of runs. George Worker will also be looking to push his Black Caps selection spot.
George Worker.
Yeah, he's somewhat of a forgotten man a wee bit. If he scores a whole lot of runs in the Plunket Shield, he'll make a pretty strong case that he should open the innings in Test cricket, I'd say.
Speaking of forgotten men, did Greg Hay ever play for the Black Caps?
I don't believe so.
Because he put up quite a few... No, it doesn't look like he did. But I remember him putting up a lot of runs a while ago. I guess doesn't always get you into the national team. Jesse Ryder used to play for the Black Caps, though.
He sure did. And what do you reckon about Ryder's Black Caps' future?
I'd say it's slim chance. Like, it just seems everyone's kind of happy with the status quo, and he can just go to England, probably make a few bucks there playing county cricket, being the absolute man, and he can come back and play a bit for CD, just as he did last year. Like, I think he's probably fairly content with life at the moment. I don't know that anyone real, and the Black Caps probably feel the same. But having said that, I think we've swung back into a point now where, when Ryder was cut, it was like, well, look, mate, we'd have you, but you're just not like quite toeing the line. We're trying to build this particular. Obviously, it was Brendan McCullum, so I've got to say the words brand of cricket, all that kind of stuff. And nowadays, though, it's kind of come back the other way around. He's kept his head down and just done his own thing for a while and gotten out of the media spotlight for quite a few months, which has been obviously a pretty happy thing for him. And also that's coincided with the Black Caps getting to the point where, like, they could use another talented bat in their middle order. I almost think it's if he does end up back in there, it's not going to be him going crawling to them, it'd be them crawling to him now. Probably a nice place for Ryder to be sitting.
Ryder, you could make a strong case that Ryder's a better all-rounder than Jimmy Neesham or Corey Anderson. Like, he's arguably a better batsman.
He picked up wickets in England.
And he's arguably a better bowler than both of those two as well. So, very interesting summer for Ryder. Like,
not arguably in terms of the bat. Definitely a better batsman.
As you said, he's probably unlikely to feature in the Black Caps moving forward. But hey, if he's playing fantastic cricket, and the Stags will need him to, because what holds me back from getting excited about them is just the lack of batting they have. Will Young's talented. You've got Ryder, and you've got the veterans there as well. But I don't think they've got enough batting there, so they will need Ryder to catch fire. And if Ryder catches fire with bat and ball, who knows what's going to happen there.